जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी Shodanandana Brajanandana Yashodanandana Brajanandana Yamunadira Vanachari Yamunadira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Punjabi Hari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jayo Radha Rashmi Hari Radha Rashmi Hari Radhe Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jai Shubhadra Jaya Sudarshana Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta Dev Prahlad Narasimha Jaya Ananta Dev Jaya Gaura Di Bangaloreshwar Gaura Di Bangaloreshwar Gaura Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Nitai Chaitanya Nitai Chaitanya Jaya Nitai Chaitanya Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल हरि नाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजाचार्य स्तोत्र शत इस डिवाइन ग्रेस of चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय ISKCON founder Acharya BBD Acharya savior of the whole universe Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजाचार्य स्तोत्र शत इस डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय नमाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय जय श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ छतगुरु स्वामी भगवान की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण चंद्र गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन गिरिराज महाराज की जय मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय श्री क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय जमुना माई की जय कावेरी माई की जय भक्ति देवी की जय तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories and glories and glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदिगजेन स्तोत्रायषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतं सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी मूकं करोति वाचालं पूर्णगायतीं यत् कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुगणतारिणं परमानन्दं माधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम् हरि ओम तत्सत्. Hare Krishna. So we'll continue our reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 9. Chapter 9 is titled Guru Maharaj Returns Home, and today's verse is going to be the. Let me just project the words for you, please. The verse is seen by all the devotees. It's the 31st verse that we're going to be discussing from in today's discussion. Aho bata mamanatmayam mandabhagyasya pasyata bhavachita padamulam gatva yase yat antavat aho bata mahamanyat yam mandabhagyasya pasyata bhavachita padamulam gatva yase yat antavat aho bata mamanatyamam mandabhagyasya pasyata bhavacheta padamulam katvayase yat antava. Translation: Aho, oh, kata, alas, mama, my, anatniyam, bodily consciousness, mandabhagyasya, of the unfortunate, pasyata, just see, bhava, material existence, chida, of the Lord, who can cut off, padamulam, the lotus feet, gatva, having approached, yes, yes, I prayed for yat, that which, antavat, perishable. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: Alas, just look at me. I am so unfortunate. I approached the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can immediately cut the chain of repetition of birth and death, but still, out of my foolishness, I prayed for something which is perishable. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Yes. The word anatmiyam is very significant in this verse. Atma means the soul, and Anatmaya means without any conception of soul. Srila Rishabdev instructed his sons that unless a human being comes to the point of understanding the Atma or the spiritual position, whatever he does is ignorance, and this brings only defeat in his life. Guru Maharaj regrets his unfortunate position. For although he approached the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is always able to give his devotees the highest benediction of cessation of repetition of birth and death, which is impossible for any demigod to offer, he foolishly wanted something perishable. When Hiranyakashipu asked immortality from Lord Brahma expressed his inability to offer such a benediction because of he himself is not immortal. Therefore, immortality or complete cessation of the chain of repeated birth and death can be offered by Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Personality of Godhead himself, not by others. Harim vina namritim taranti. It is said that without the blessings of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, no one can stop the continuous chain of birth and death within the material world. Therefore, the Supreme Lord is also called Avachit. The Vaishnava philosophy in process of Krishna consciousness prohibits a devotee from all kinds of material aspirations. A Vaishnava devotee should always be anya bilashita shunya, free from all material aspirations for the result of fruitive activities or empiric philosophical speculation. Dhruva Maharaj was actually initiated by Narad Muni, the greatest Vaishnava, in the chanting of Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This mantra is a Vishnu mantra. For by practicing the chanting of this mantra, one is elevated to Vishnu Loka. Dhruva Maharaj regrets that although he was initiated in the Vishnu mantra by a Vaishnava, he still aspired for material benefits. That was another cause for lamentation. Although he got the result of Vishnu mantra by causeless mercy of the Lord, he lamented how foolish he was to have strived for material benefits while practicing devotional service. In other words, every one of us who is engaged in devotional service in Krishna consciousness should completely free from all material conception. Otherwise, we will have to lament like Dhruva Maharaj. Om Tat Sat. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport to Canto 4 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 9, chapter titled Dhruva Maharaj Returns Home, and the text number is 31 that we are discussing today, what we just read. अमज्ञानातिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Shakamitамscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyo Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we continue the wonderful discussion that we've been having for last couple of weeks on when Dhruva Maharaj returns, what is his thought? And just before that, just to give you a little background of what really transpired for Dhruva Maharaj to go to the forest and then pray and then receive the benedictions of the Lord and then come back. So one day, when Mother Suruchi is sitting with Maharaj, the king, Suruchi has a son called Uttama, and Suniti, who is the mother of Dhruva. So they're actually two wives of the king. And Maharaj is actually more favorable towards Suruchi, and that's why he gives more importance. So this is one day that Dhruva Maharaj wanted to sit on the lap of his father, but mother did not allow him. She said, "You're not qualified. If at all you want to be qualified, you should take birth from my womb. Then only you will be able to sit on the lap of the king." Feeling very hurt, distressed, Dhruva, a small little boy of 5 years, just goes to his mother crying, saying that I've been insulted by my stepmother and she doesn't want me to sit on the lap of my father. And Mother Suniti, as the name suggests, Suniti, one who's very understanding or does everything as per the niti, as per the logic, understands the plight of this child and tells him that why do you want to sit with small things? If at all you want to, go and sit on the lap of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he can do that actually. And Dhruva Maharaj becomes interested just by the spark of bhakti. This is a spark of bhakti. Many times we see that, the smallest of the things that can spark and that can lead one into taking up the Krishna consciousness. There are many devotees who take it up in distress. There are many devotees who take it up with love. There are many devotees who take it with fear. So there are different kinds of devotees and different kinds of attachments that they get towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then they start their spiritual life. So here, the spark which Mother Suniti had just put into Dhruva pulls him into the action now. And he says, you tell me, how do I reach Lord Vishnu? Where is he available? So Mother Suniti says, I haven't met him, I haven't seen him, but nevertheless, I understand that he's in the forest. This is the quality of a teacher or a guru who guides the disciple or guides the students in the right direction. So Dhruva Maharaj takes a vow, very determined. That's the nature of Dhruva Maharaj. Kshatriyas are generally very determined, but devotees also have to be very determined, like Dhruva Maharaj. And Dhruva Maharaj decides that he will go to the forest and meet Lord Vishnu and seek his blessings. Now, seek his blessings for a material sense. Here also in today's shloka, in the purport that we will discuss in a little while, it is very clearly said that he looked at something very material, but then what he got was much more than what he expected. And then he actually laments, saying that why did I look at something material? I should have asked for the blessings of the Lord for spiritual advancement, blessings of the Lord for bhakti, blessings of the Lord for preaching. But then, that spark of that moment, he couldn't really speak in front of the Lord. So Dhruva Maharaj on the way to the forest meets Narad Muni in the forest, and Narad Muni, having seen that small little boy, tries to dissuade him, saying that, hey, go back, you're a small boy, your age is basically to play with your friends and enjoy the life. He says, no, sir, if you'd like to guide me, please guide me, otherwise let me go into the forest. So here comes his guru again. Narad Muni becomes his guru and guides him in the right direction and tells him what he needs to do. And then Dhruva Maharaj enters the forest, not scared of the wild animals, not scared of anything, and not worried about how he's going to maintain his body. He would eat fruits and berries for some days. After that, he stopped doing that also. And then he started, he was drinking only water. And then later date, he was, even without water, he was only on air. And then one fine day, he stops breathing air, and the whole universe starts choking. So the Devatas go back to Lord Vishnu, request him, saying that this is what has happened, and choking. Lord Vishnu himself comes in front of the little boy, seeing his determination, seeing his bhakti, seeing his faith in the words of his guru. That is very important, because Dhruva believed the words of his guru, be it his Siksha Guru, that is his mother, or even Narad Muni, eventually became his Diksha Guru. So he believes the words of his spiritual master and goes into the forest, and likewise, the Lord is very pleased when he sees devotees, and he sees devotees. And he sees that they are executing the orders of their spiritual father, spiritual master, guru. And the Lord appears in front of him, blesses him, and then Dhruva Maharaj sees him for a while, and then the Lord disappears again. He feels very disheartened. He feels, what was I doing? I was asking for pieces of glass, pieces of broken glass actually, and he gave me a diamond. Yeah, I came for a small kingdom, but the Lord gave me his darshan, which is like a diamond. So here in this verse, if we go in detailing of this verse, we see that Dhruva Maharaj is actually lamenting, saying that I'm so unfortunate. And he says, I approached the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can actually cut the chain of repetition of birth and death. But still, out of my foolishness, I prayed for something which is perishable. Perishable means something which is not going to live long, which is not going to stay long, which is going to be ultimately discarded. So Rishabdev also gives very clear instructions, and this instruction is very apt for the people of this world also, is that unless the human being comes to the point of understanding the Atma or the spiritual position, whatever he does is ignorance, and he brings only defeat in his life. Dhruv Maharaj also regrets his unfortunate position, for although he approached the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can give, who can deliver, can cut from this the cycle of birth and death, he asked for something very, very small. He asked for benediction of a small kingdom, whereas he can give us the benediction of cessation of repeated birth and death. I think that's the biggest problem that we see today, is the birth, death, old age, and disease. So if there is birth, there will be old age, there will be disease, and by default, there will be death. So if we cut the repetition of birth and death, then all the problems are sorted out. You don't have to worry. But how do we cut that? Now, in this case, Dhruv Maharaj was asking for a very, very small kingdom. What is Dhruvatara for Supreme Personality of Godhead? He owns the whole universe, not only this world, it is the whole universe. He can give anybody anything. It is like going to a multimillionaire and asking him for 1 rupee. What is 1 rupee for him? He can give you thousands of rupees, he can give you lakhs of rupees, he can give you crores of rupees. But then you, like a foolish boy or a foolish person, go and ask him, say, sir, can you give me 1 rupee, sir? I would like to, eat. That's too little. And especially when this rich person is saying, come, ask me whatever you want to ask. That's the position of Dhruv Maharaj. Dhruv Maharaj, when the Lord appeared in front of Dhruv Maharaj, he felt he should have asked for his getting out of the material world. He should have got out, or there should be a benediction for cessation of repeated birth and death. But he just asked for a kingdom. And then he realized that, oh my God, I've done such a big mistake. Yeah. He wanted foolishly something very, very perishable. The kingdom will not be there. Today, if we ask for money, money will not stay for a long time. It will come and go. We ask for good health will come and go. Yeah. Good family, families will come and go. People in your family will leave their bodies and new birth will happen in the family. Yeah. You ask for position is there only temporarily. But when you're given something, so easily, you should ask for something which is not going to perish, which is not going to stop, which is not going to end, which is not going to cessate. So here, Dhruv Maharaj asked for something very, very temporary, and then he was feeling sad that I should not have asked for this. I should have asked, blessings of cutting my repeated birth and death. And when, again, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada talks about Hiranyakashipu. In the story of Hiranyakashipu, we see that Hiranyakashipu he had this quality of performing austerity, sadhana. He could do anything, he could sit for hours, months, years together and not get up. And very, very, that sense of qualified to practice all these things. But then what did he do? He went to Brahma and he asked Brahma, saying that, give me immortality. Lord Brahma says, hello, I don't have that. How can I give it to you? So what Srila Prabhupada is trying to point out is, when the Lord can grant you everything, when you are going to the Lord, ask him for cessation from birth and death. Nobody else can offer this. Not Lord Brahma, not Lord Shiva. Nobody can offer you these blessings of going back home, back to Godhead. So it is very important that when we meet the Lord, our whole intent of meeting the Lord is saying that, oh Lord, I have done a mistake. I wanted to be independent of you. I've come down to this material world. Now I want to go back home and never to return. That's more important. Going back home is, yes, it is there. But then, if you have desire saying that I'll just go home for some days, like we have the, software engineers who have moved to Bangalore for their work. they go to their native place for some time to come back to Bangalore. Here, no, we are not looking at that kind of going. We are looking at a kind of going where we say we want to go back home permanently, never to return again. Here, the personality of Godhead himself can give these blessings. Nobody else can give these blessings. Only he can stop the continuous chain of birth and death within this material world. Therefore, what is the name that has been given to him? Bhava Chitta. The one who can understand your bhava, who can understand your bhava of the chitta. Again, in Krishna consciousness, we all have been reading the 10 offenses, again, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Yeah, the last offense, it says, maintaining material attachment. It's also an offense to maintain material attachment even after understanding so many instructions in the matter. Yeah, we understand it very well. We speak about Srimad Bhagavatam, we speak about Bhagavad Gita, we speak about our cutting the bond with Maya, cutting the bond with the material energy and going back home, back to Godhead. But we still maintain material attachment. We maintain material positions. We maintain material relationship. Well, my meaning of saying that you should not maintain material attachment or material relationship is not that you break your relation with everybody. In whatever is our relationship with everybody available on in and around us, it should be based only on the spiritual relationship. We should see everybody as an Atma. We should see everybody as devotees of the Lord. And at the same time, we should also preach the holy name of the Lord to everybody. So that is what in the purport Srila Prabhupada says, a Vaishnava devotee should always be free, should always be Anya Vilashita Shunyam, free from all material aspirations for the result of fruitive activities or empiric philosophical speculation. Right? Narad Muni was the greatest of the Vaishnava and he initiated Dhruv Maharaj into chanting of Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This mantra is a Vishnu mantra, and by practicing the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we can all get elevated to Vishnu Loka. We can all get elevated to Golok Vrindavan. In day before yesterday's class, Maharaj gave very clear, differentiation between material world. Then Maharaj also spoke about the Brahma Jyoti, and then he also spoke about the spiritual world, which is very important for us to really look at. And when we are really looking at it, our only intent has to go back home, back to Godhead. Yeah. Not to stay in between, not to go into Brahma Jyoti and get into philosophical speculation and stay there continuously roaming around. That's not what we are looking at. So, this mantra that is given to us, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, if we chant it regularly and incessantly, this mantra can elevate us to the spiritual abode, which is Golok Vrindavan. Dhruv Maharaj, he is regretting in the shloka, saying that although he was initiated in the Vishnu mantra by Vaishnavas, that is Narad Muni. Narad Muni gave him the mantra and he initiated him as a devotee, as a Vaishnava, but he still aspired for the material benefit. Yeah. And that was the cause for his lamentation, saying that I, was asking for broken pieces. I should have actually asked for something more. And when I met the Lord, I should have just told him that cut my repeated birth and death. But then I just asked for a big kingdom as big as or bigger than my father's kingdom. So that was the cause for his lamentation. He got the result of his Vishnu mantra by causeless mercy of the Lord and causeless mercy of Guru, because Guru gave him the Vishnu mantra. So Guru is also important. Guru is actually more important when we really take up to Krishna consciousness, because he guides us in the right direction. He actually takes us into the direction where God is there, when how the mercy of the Lord can be got. So he was lamenting that he was a very foolish person because he strived for material benefit. He calls himself foolish. Think of such a great devotee calling himself foolish. And this is after meeting the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. Yeah. But he says he was very foolish because he strived for material benefit while practicing devotional service. This is something very important. All of us have our jobs, all of us have business, all of us have our professions. Yeah, we aspire for some kind of profitability in business. That is not material. But here it says he aspired for material benefits while practicing devotional service. Yeah, this is also an offense that, while we are chanting the holy name of the Lord, we should not aspire saying that by chanting this holy name, I will get some money, I will get some good health, I will get some, position. No, on the glories of, or on the basis of the glories of the holy name, one should never think of getting a material benefit. So this is what is another offense that devotees unknowingly commit, saying that, okay, there are many people who say, okay, I'll go to the temple, I will light so many lamps if I get this. Or if I pass in my exam, I'll come and offer, one nariyal, one coconut. No, that's not the kind of material benefits that one should really look at it. The Lord is capable of giving anything and everything, but we have to ask Him what is good in our favor. Yeah. God is very merciful. He says, okay, you want to go to the material world, you want to go to earth, tatastu. You want to come back, tatastu. He's always open because, like a loving father, he never says no to his child. Yeah. As far as the child is asking, whatever his father is having, I'm sure Supreme Personality of Godhead has everything. So he need not worry about what he doesn't have. He has everything. So, in other words, if uh, those who are of us are engaged in devotional service should be completely free from the material aspirations. Yeah. Saying that because of the holy name, I'll get this position. Because of the holy name, I will become the secretary, the treasurer, the president, the vice president, the co-chairman. No, we should never aspire for such positions. Yes, there will be positions which will come, and devotees will have to fulfill the instructions of the senior devotees or the spiritual masters or the authorities, when they are given certain positions to manage the temple, to manage the preaching, to manage the book distribution. Yes, you will get positions, but you should not get attached, and you should not really look at, when you go into that position, look at some material benefit. No, should be completely free from material aspirations or material expectations. Otherwise, as it is said here, Dhruv Maharaj is lamenting, we will also have to lament. One fine day we will end up into problems, and then we will say, oh God, I should not have done this. Oh Krishna, why did I do this? So this is a warning to all of us, saying that we should not engage into such activities. Yeah. And this is it for today's discussion from Srimad Bhagavatam. But at the meantime, I was also thinking that today being a very auspicious day of the disappearance day of Sri Lochandas Thakur, we will also read a little bit about Sri Lochandas Thakur. So Sri Lochandas Thakur appeared in this world in 1520 AD. Yeah. And he appeared actually 34 years before the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wrote the biography of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entitled Sri Chaitanya Mangal. And he wrote many other devotional songs. He's very well known in that Bengal, part of the Bengal where he comes in from. And he took birth in a family of Rahiya physicians who resided in the village of Kogram. And this is in Katna district of Bardhaman. And he was initiated by Sri Narahari Sarkar Thakur. And in Chaitanya Mangal, Sri Lochandas Thakur writes that I'm the servant of Thakur Sri Narahari, that's his spiritual master, who is my master of life. The desire of all my desires I place at his lotus feet, which is that the real culture, that is myself, might describe something about wonderful qualities of Gaura Sundara. And this is my only refuge. This is only my expectation. He writes this in Chaitanya Mangal in the Sattva Khanda. His family name was Sri Kamalakara Das, and his mother's name was, his father's name was Sri Kamalakara Das, and his mother's name was Srimati Sadananda. He was the only son to his parents, and he was raised in his maternal grandfather's home, for his education was completed there. When he was only a little boy, he enjoyed the good fortune of meeting devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was married at a very young age. From his youth, he was very attached to Gaur Chundra and consequently very disinterested in material life, though he was surrounded by family, friends, society. Uh, and in his younger days, he spent major part of his time with his guru, Sripad Srikhanda, where he learned how to do kirtan. So at his guru's house, he learned how to do the Sankirtan. The book that he composed, that is called Chaitanya Mangal, was from the diary of Sri Murari Gupta. Murari Gupta, who resides in Nadia, composed many beautiful verses about the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This includes the youthful pastime of Nimai, which Murari Gupta personally took part in, and his father's pastime in Nilachala after he accepted sannyasa, which were narrated by Sri Damodar Pandit. Having heard all these verses of Murari Gupta composed in Sanskrit, he actually became very attracted. So he composed them in the village folk poetry meter in Bengali. In the Chaitanya Mangal, Sri Lochandas Thakur has written, "My hope of hope is to be near the lotus feet of Sri Narahari Thakur, to serve and worship him with my life. The cherished desire of fallen Lochandas Thakur is to be allowed by the grace of Narahari to sing the glories of Sri Gauranga. My Lord is Sri Narahari Thakur, and I am his servant. Bowing and praying before him, I beg him to allow me of his service. This is my only aspiration." So, if you can really notice here how dedicated they are there to their guru, Sri Narahari Thakur. Lochandas Thakur is always praying that my spiritual master is the best, and I only offer it. Whatever prayers I'm offering to Sri Gaur Sundara is through my spiritual father. Initially, Vrindavan Das Thakur's Chaitanya Bhagavat was also originally called as Chaitanya Mangal. And Lochandas Thakur and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami gave the name as Chaitanya Bhagavat. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes in Chaitanya, he says that Vedavyasa has described the pastimes of Krishna in his Bhagavata and Vyasa in Chaitanya Leela in Vrindavan Dasa. Yeah, so nicely it is said. There are many pastimes of Chaitanya that have only been touched on briefly by Vrindavan Das Thakur. These are described in detail in Chaitanya Mangal by Lochandas Thakur. And in Chaitanya Mangal is divided into 4 parts: Sutra Khand, Adi Khand, Madhyam Khand, and Shesha Khand. The Sutra Khand has 2 chapters, Adi Khand has 7 chapters, and Madhyam Khand has 12. And the Shesh Khand has the contents of Shesh Khand has 3. Yeah, so there are more details about Chaitanya Mangal, which we may not go into details. So I'll giving more details of Chaitanya Mangal. It's very nice. One should read Chaitanya Mangal, and that gives the love. If somebody wants to get that love of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he should read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mangal. I'll just skip all this. And okay, so actually at the end, Lochandas Thakur is requesting everybody, saying that I request you to just worship Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda with firm conviction and faith. Don't think that this chanting and dancing will not lead to the desired goal. It will. It is the assurance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that one will get all the perfection by this process. Therefore, one must chant with firm faith and conviction.
But then what he's asking is, what is the process? If one wants to be Krishna conscious, by this process, one has to give up his engagement in sense gratification. Here, you see, Lochandas Thakur is not talking about giving up his engagement, of working or profession or business. No, he's talking about giving up his engagement in sense gratification. That is the only restriction. If one gives up sense gratification, it is sure that he will reach the desired goal. One simply has to chant Hari Hari, Hari Hari, Hari Hari without any motive of sense gratification. So Sri Lochandas Thakur was actually born in Shakabda 1445 and disappeared in 1540. So all during his stay on this mortal world, he always propagated the holy name of the Lord, always inspired devotees to take up to Krishna consciousness and read Chaitanya Mangal. So I will give rest to my voice now in case if there are any questions about what we discussed. So briefly, we discussed about the 31st verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 9th chapter, where Dhruva Maharaj is actually lamenting, saying that, what did I do? I should have asked for something more. I should have asked for cutting myself off from repeated birth and death, but I asked for a small kingdom. He says the Lord has the capability of giving every benediction, then why are we asking for something very low or something very cheap? So he's requesting devotees not to get entrapped into asking for material benedictions. We should always be asking for spiritual benedictions. And again, we also spoke about the offense of against the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, saying that to maintain material attachment even after understanding so many instructions on this subject matter, it's an offense. So this is the offense that Dhruva Maharaj is talking about, it, saying that I got so many instructions from Narad Muni, from my mother, but still I maintain material attachment. And then we also saw that Lord Brahma, when Hiranyakashipu goes to him saying that give me immortality, he says, I am also not immortal. How can I give you something which I don't have? So he says only Lord Vishnu can give us that immortality, and we don't need immortality. We want to go back home, back to cottage, serve him there as his associate, serve him there as his dasa, serve him there as his servants. That should be the intent of a devotee and not anything beyond that. So that was about today's Srimad Bhagavatam discussion from the 31st verse. And we also discussed on Lochandas Thakur, one of the very senior acharyas, disciple of Narahari Das Thakur. And he appeared before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but then he wrote Chaitanya Mangal, the complete biography of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So let's pray at the lotus feet of Sri Lochandas Thakur that he grants us Krishna Bhakti so that we can progress in the path of spiritual growth. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to take the questions. And if there are any comments, please go ahead and make it. If there are any corrections, please advise me. I'll be happy to accept it. So if there are no questions.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandavad.
Hare Krishna, Dandavad, Prabhuji.
So if there are any questions, then we will end the session here. Thank you very much for joining this wonderful session in the morning. And I thank the temple management for giving me an opportunity to speak on the subject today and purify myself. You have a wonderful Krishna conscious day. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.